This conference will now be recorded.
This is the Introduction to Personal Branding 2020, part of the Continuing Professional Development, the CPD series. People don't do business with a logo. They do business with a person. That's from BrandFace for top real estate professionals. As we will discuss in a moment, when people are deciding which realtor to use, when either purchasing or selling what is often their biggest investment in their lives, they need to trust that person. In Bend, we have over 22,000 realtors, all competing for a limited number of buyers and sellers. Worse than that, most brokers do things pretty much the same way. A company logo on a company business card, a company yard sign, company open house sign, and pretty much the same technology as every other company. Other than the name, photo, and contact information, all brokers look pretty much the same. So, with so much sameness in our industry, how is the consumer to find a broker? How would they find you? If you have children, you probably recognize the popular Where's Waldo drawings. Our kids would spend hours trying to find Waldo, who's wearing a distinctive red and white striped shirt among a couple thousand other characters. It is amazing how hard sometimes it is to find him. And that is when somebody's actually trying to find him. How will you stand out from the crowd when nobody is looking especially for you? It's not enough to say, well, people know I'm a realtor. They probably know lots of realtors in Bend. It's also not enough to say, well, they used me before and were happy, so of course they'll use me again. According to the NAR 2019 profile of home buyers and sellers, 90% of buyers and 87% of sellers said they would use their agent again, yet only about 25% actually did. When it comes down to make the decision to hire a realtor, there are quite frankly a lot of choices out there. And the real question is, what are you going to do to stand out so that you're the one they notice? So you are the one they call back. So you are the one they remember when the decision's made. Again, according to the NAR 2019 profile of home buyers and sellers, 75% of sellers only contacted one agent when selling their home. Are you going to be that one agent? Are you going to be making yourself top of mind to your potential clients? There are many brokers, including in our own office, that do nothing after a sale is done to keep in touch with those 90% of buyers and 87% of sellers that say they would use them again. But unfortunately, they do not. Our brokerage has been around for 9 years, and I can't imagine the amount of business lost by letting your biggest supporters go away. Making sure that they're the one that they call when it comes time to buy or sell a home and be able to build your client base is what great branding is all about. So, what is branding? Here's a parable. A group of blind men heard about a strange animal called an elephant that had been brought to the town, but none of them were aware of its shape and form. Out of curiosity, they said, we must inspect and know it by touch, of which we are capable. So they sought it out, and when they found it, they groped about it. In the case of the first person whose hand landed on the trunk, they said, this thing is like a thick snake. For another whose hand reached his ear, it seemed like a kind of fan. For another person whose hand was on its leg, they said the elephant is a pillar, like a tree trunk. The blind man who placed his hand upon its side said the elephant is a wall. Another who felt his tail described it as a rope. And the last felt its tusk, stating the elephant is that which is hard, smooth, and like a spear. Many brokers feel it's what the company does. They work for Bend Premier, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, so that's their brand. Others feel your brand is your logo and face on your business card and marketing pieces. But that's only a fraction of what branding is. And quite honestly, there are lots of different ways to look at what makes your brand, just as there are many different ways to describe the elephant. But instead of trying to talk about just one way and trying to convince you that way is the right, we will instead, in our upcoming series of classes, talk about different approaches to establishing your own personal brand, and hopefully something will click with you. One definition from the book BrandFace is a good start. It's the why, the difference, the look, the messaging, and the consistency. is about being different and standing out in our sea of realtors. As we will learn in our upcoming class, being different is better than being better. Without differentiation, you're marketing like everyone else. And in a sea of sameness, people will be forced to differentiate based on other things, like price. And when the decision comes down to price, two things can happen. One, you lose the business to someone cheaper. Or two, you win the business because you are the cheapest. It's great to see brokers in our own office actually being able to negotiate higher commissions rather than asking me if we can lower our commissions. I know an entire company in Portland that also regularly gets higher commissions because they do things differently. And their differentiation makes them better than the competition. For example, offering Matterport 3D tours is something that makes you different and better than your competitors. So, number one, our upcoming class called Being Known in 2020 is about discovering what makes you unique and differentiates you from your competition. We want you to be known in a sea of sameness, hence the name of the class. And number two is about using your personal branding to build that all-important trust factor. And according to NAR, the number one determining factor in hiring a realtor to sell their home is the broker's reputation. Can I trust you? Agents they like, trust, and respect the most get their business. It's all about standing out and differentiating yourself from your competition and building trust. The buyers are everywhere. They are already in your sphere of influence and friends of your sphere. They are in your community, in groups and events, and they are online where, according to NAR, 93% of buyers start searching for homes before they even contact a real estate agent. How will you make yourself known? How will you differentiate yourself? How will you make sure you are the agent they call first, because 75% of sellers only contact one agent? Let's start the differentiation process with some questions that I would encourage you to ponder and write out. From these answers, you can start to develop what your personal niche might be. The first are outside work questions. 1, what is your life story? What's your upbringing, education, jobs, family life, passions, shared journeys, etc.? 2, how would you describe yourself? 3, how do people outside of work describe you? You might want to ask some people close to you this question. 4, what do you have a natural passion for? 5, what motivates you in life? So those are outside work questions. Your work questions are: 1, how does or can your lifestyle connect with your work? For instance, could you be the realtor with a banking background? 2, how do you think clients would describe you? 3, what do you truly love about your business? 4, why did you get into real estate in the first place? Is that still the reason now? 5, what aspect of the business gets you hyped each day to jump out of bed and take on the world? 6, who were your favorite past clients and why were they your favorites? 7, what type of clients would you rather not work with? 8, what do you stand against in your industry that you think you could do better? Such as returning phone calls, that's an example. 9, what part of your job makes you watch the clock? 10, what is the most profitable thing you sell and the least profitable? 11, what motivates you in work? So the upcoming classes will be Being Known in 2020, your one-page marketing plan, Working Your Sphere, and then a whole lot of other ones after we're done with these. Thanks, and I look forward to getting feedback from you and talking more about this.